Hey everyone, and welcome to What Did I Miss?, where today I'll be breaking down the 6th episode of the final season of Better Call Saul, titled Axe and Grind. This episode was basically a setup episode for the last episode to air before the show goes on a 2-month break and returns July 11th. It did give away the plan that Kim and Saul have planned for Howard, while also providing a few big reveals and connections to the greater Breaking Bad universe. And I'll go over all that and more here. But before I get into all that, I want to thank you for clicking on this video and ask that if you do enjoy it, to please hit that like button. If you are not yet subscribed, now would be a great time to do that as well. The episode begins with a flashback to Nebraska in 1984, with Kim as a child getting into trouble at a department store and her mother coming to get her. This is the second time we have seen Kim's childhood, as her mother was also introduced in a flashback during the 5th season episode Wexler vs. Goodman. In both scenes, it is made clear that Kim's mother was not a good influence on her, and Kim also mentioned to Jimmy in the episode The Guy for This that her family was so poor that they never owned a residence and at times would be woken up during the night to leave wherever they are. In the first flashback, Kim was shown to be defiant against her mother's behavior, not getting into a car with her after her mother had been drinking. But in this scene, it appears that Kim is actually seeking to mimic her mother's behavior by attempting to steal. In fact, after they leave the store, Kim's mother shows her that she stole the items that Kim was trying to take. I think that the scene is meant to show the audience the beginnings of Kim's way of handling stress, which could be to emulate the bad influences in her life. This could also explain why Kim is so concerned with going after Howard, because if she is thinking about her plan against Howard, then she does not have time to worry about Lalo and what he might do to her and Jimmy if he gets to them. The beginning of the scene takes a few of the same visual cues that were used before with her meeting with Cliff in the episode Hit and Run, such as the camera showing the back of her hair and her foot nervously tapping on the ground. This emphasizes Kim's state of mind, and her tightly assembled hair meant to project confidence and strength, and her tapping foot showing her inner turmoil and fear. The song playing on the radio as Kim and her mother drive off is The Reflex by Duran Duran. This show never uses a song without a reason, and besides dating the scene in 1984 when the song was a hit, I think it also has a deeper meaning. One of the main lyrics of the song talks about a lonely child waiting by the park, which I think is meant to symbolize Kim. Kim never had a stable life as a child, so she probably moved away to New Mexico and went to school to be a lawyer to build a stable life for herself. But it isn't things that Kim wants, it's the love of someone dependable that she never got from her mother. So much like a reflex, Kim acts like slipping Jimmy because she believes that making Jimmy happy by punishing Howard will get her the love that she never felt as a child. It explains why Kim seems so straight-laced, but can also have these inclinations to engage in deviant behavior. After the intro, we see Howard getting ready for work with his wife. It is very obvious that they are estranged, and has even suggested that she may be having an affair after telling Howard that she will once again not be coming home at night. Howard then meets with his PI, who shows him some pictures of Saul and tells him what he's been doing. I have a theory about his PI, and that he may actually be working for Kim and Saul, but I will go into that a bit later. Kim and Saul meet with Dr. Caldera, who is a vet that also helps criminals that was introduced in the first season episode 5-0. It appears that they are purchasing some type of drug from the doctor that is a stimulant. This is definitely part of their plan against Howard, as it sounds like the effects of the drug are similar to the effects of cocaine. My guess is that they are going to slip this to Howard somehow on the day, and once he takes it, he will begin acting and looking like he's on drugs. Dr. Caldera also reveals that he is moving, having no more taste for the criminal underworld. He also shows Saul a black book filled with contacts protected by a cipher. In the middle of the book is a business card for Best Quality Vacuum Repair. This is the name of the business owned by Ed Galbraith that debuted in the last season of Breaking Bad, as Ed is the man that not only allowed Walt to disappear but also Saul. If you notice, it is Kim that finds the card, so this may be a subtle clue that she will be using his services in the future. This book is also seen during the intro to the first episode of the season in a flash forward of Saul's house after it is confiscated by authorities. The picture board in the vet's office is filled with the actual pets of the crew on Better Call Saul. Next we see Kim in court defending a man that was pulled over based on the fact that he had an Albuquerque Isotopes air freshener hanging from his mirror. In the 4th season episode Smoke, Saul, aka Gene, gets into a cab with a man with the same air freshener during a flash forward. Gene has been noticeably absent this season, so hopefully in the second half we will get more of his storyline. After meeting with Cliff about an opportunity, Kim goes to the offices of Saul Goodman and Associates and reconnects with Francesca. This character first debuted in the same episode that Saul did in the Breaking Bad episode titled Better Call Saul, and then reappeared on this series in the 3rd season episode Witness. It is interesting that the office looks so much different than it did on Breaking Bad, which seems to hint that Saul will take more control over his image in the future. In the back of the office, Saul is working with his film crew to stage a photo. This crew has been working with Saul since the first season in the episode Hero. They are trying to make a man look like the judge presiding over the Sandpiper Crossing settlement case, which later backfires when Saul finds that the actual judge has a broken arm. Speaking of damaged limbs, in a German forest, Lalo finds Casper, one of the men who worked for Werner Ziegler. Casper runs when he notices Lalo and gets the upper hand at first, but Lalo is able to cut off his foot. Lalo was able to find him after finding the memorial he sent to Werner Ziegler's wife last episode. Even though she is not happy to be doing it, Saul has Francesca call HHM, posing as a relative of one of the people involved in the Sandpiper case, in order to get the dial-in number and passcode for the meeting. This scene foreshadows one of the craziest scenes in Breaking Bad, where Saul has Francesca call Hank to tell him that his wife was in an accident, so that he drops everything to drive to the hospital in the Season 3 episode Sunset. At the laundry, Mike speaks with Tyrus about how Gus's men are being positioned. It is then revealed that Mike has men on his granddaughter's house as well, no doubt after his family was threatened by the Salamancas during the second season of the show. One main character that was missing from this episode is Gus, but the man who plays him may have been one of the hardest working people on set. That is because Giancarlo Esposito, the actor who plays Gustavo Fring, directed this episode of Better Call Saul. He's the second cast member to direct an episode this season after Ray Seahorn directed the episode Hit and Run. After going over their plan one more time, Saul and Kim share a bottle of wine on what he calls Omaha Beach, but turns out to be the lawn of the offices of HHM. For those of you that are not history buffs, Omaha Beach was the site of the Allied forces' invasion of German-occupied France during the Second World War. This obviously means that whatever Kim and Saul have planned will happen at this office, possibly in the conference room that is lit in the scene. The next day, Saul goes to a liquor store to buy a bottle of Zafiro Anejo. This fictional brand of tequila was first seen on Breaking Bad in the episode Salud, and is used by Gustavo Fring to kill Don Eladio and his men by poisoning them. But this bottle and the top have also appeared quite a bit on Better Call Saul since its first appearance in the Season 2 episode Switch. Most recently, the bottle top was also seen in the intro to this season of Better Call Saul, rolling out of a chest and into the gutter. Then Saul sees the judge in an arm cast and freaks out. He calls Kim to tell her what has happened and that the plan should be called off. She insists though that it needs to go forward and drives back to Saul to help him. Now this scene is very important because I think that it gives away what Kim and Saul had planned to do to Howard. If you notice, Jimmy breaks out photos of him with the fake judge, and these are the same type of photos that the PI that Howard had hired showed him earlier in the episode. That PI also told Howard that Saul took out $20,000, and in one of the pictures with Saul and the judge, you can see Saul handing him an envelope. It appears that these photos of the judge taking this package, which is meant to be the $20,000 that Saul took out of the bank, was supposed to look like Saul's paying off the judge. In an effort to have Howard act on this information while being intoxicated with whatever drug that Saul and Kim got from the vet Dr. Caldera. This will make Howard seem like he is a paranoid drug addict and not fit to be in charge of a class action lawsuit, and without Howard in the way, the residents will settle. Well, that was everything I saw, but let me know in the comments if I missed anything. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please hit that like button if you have enjoyed it, and I will see you next time on What Did I Miss?